All right, who's in, who's out of the NFL playoffs? These are 5 weeks in now. Who are the 12 teams that we think are going to make the playoffs? Week 5 in the books. Let's go. AFC East. Patriots in the lead. Anybody feel like frisky today?
So let's have a conversation about this. No.
Okay. I also say
well
no.
Said.
I'm feeling frisky, but not about the Patriots.
All right, Patriots in the East. How about the North, where you got the Ravens 3-2 and everybody else with a losing record?
I got the Ravens.
You go first.
Yeah, I got the Ravens. I mean, that division I think is still up for grabs. I'm not sold.
Is it bad that I watched that game last night and thought the Ravens were 2-3, and I thought, man, there's not a team I could pick in the North. This is going to be really tough.
It's the Ravens just by default, but I don't think you can feel confident about it. I don't, at least. What do you have, Mosher?
I don't feel confident in the Ravens. In fact, they had to beat that team on its third-string quarterback who was a camp arm from Sanford. So it's not like that win inspired a lot of confidence in me for the Ravens. I thought Lamar Jackson, I'm box score scouting in this, but he clearly didn't have a very good game again. So I'm actually sticking with the Browns under my same philosophy with, I guess, Minnesota, is that I think they're going to figure things out more as the year goes on.
You know what's interesting in that division? Pittsburgh got the best defense.
They do.
114 they've given up. Baltimore and Cleveland 122 and 123. I watched that Browns team last night and said, I just don't think they have the leadership, man. I thought they brought up a good point during the game. A lot of young guys, they don't know how to win. I think that team is filled with guys who don't know how to win and no leader, and their coach isn't a leader either. No. That's a problem.
No, that's a fair comment.
That's a problem that team has. I like Baltimore because of it, because they got Harbaugh. I like Harbaugh better than that Kitchens clown. I'll tell you that much.
You're the leader of the Kitchens haters.
We just got to play better, that's all.
He's on TV. What's the over-under on how many times they show that guy? He's always on, and he's always dumbfounded, befuddled.
I'm so old, I remember when he was an Alabama quarterback. Like, I remember that. Do you remember him playing quarterback at Alabama?
I remember the name. I didn't know that was him. I didn't put them together.
Yes.
Jeez.
I do not remember.
Alabama
well,
quarterbacks.
You might not have been alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Alabama quarterbacks have not fared very well in the NFL.
No, we've got, well, other than name it.
That's
yes,
it.
Yeah.
Other than that, can you even name one? Yeah, I mean, Jay Barker did not make it.
No, and he at one point, he had the most wins in NCAA
He was
history.
tremendous. All right, so we all like the Ravens in the South, in the North. Let's go to the South.
No, I
Browns.
had Browns. I
You're
still
going
have
Browns,
Browns.
okay.
Yeah.
South, we got 2 3-2s and 2 2-3s. This is a tough one to figure out. I mean, Tennessee is 0-2 at home, 2-1 on the road.
Yeah.
In last place, but they're a plus 22, which is the best in the division. How do you make sense of this division? What do you got, Moshe?
I'm sticking with the Texans. This is probably a repetitive theme for me, is that I just expect teams that have either veteran coaches or veteran players that have some moving parts like they have with Tunsil and the running backs that they brought in, just to kind of figure it out a little bit more as the season goes on. So they're hanging in there. They have the most talent. Deshaun Watson just threw 5 touchdowns in a single game. So I got to go with that. The Colts scare me. I mean, I'm very impressed with what they did, but I do think the Texans win this division.
Yeah, this is the division that's open. I've had the Texans pretty much all along. I am starting to really like the Colts. I always have, but got to be impressed with them beating Kansas City. I'm sticking with the Texans. I just think at the end of the day, the Colts will fall just short. And the Jaguars and Titans, I don't believe in. So the Texans by default for me for the South.
I got the Texans too, and I like your theory there. A lot of times I go defense, also quarterbacks in the mix, and I think their quarterback is far superior to everybody else in that division. And by the way, Tennessee, 76 points. They've got the best defense in the South so far by far. 76 they've given up. 110 is next for Houston. Let's go to the West. Kansas City is 1 game up on Oakland. Chargers have been disappointing. Broncos finally get their first win. Ryan, you got the West.
The Chargers have a really tough schedule ahead. I looked at their schedule for the remainder of the year. I think they're in trouble, and I wanted to pick the Chargers early on to at least be a potential wild card. I think they may not even get that. And the Chiefs, despite their recent loss, and the Raiders surprising everyone at 3-2, this is the Chiefs division. I mean, they're a 12-13 win team. I don't know how you can go with anyone else.
I'm buying the Raiders. I love John Gruden.
Wow.
I think what he's doing there is fantastic. I'm kidding.
You
know I hate John Gruden. I'm kidding.
That's why I was surprised. I was like, are you
how long
buying it now?
I was almost thinking in my head, how long can I go through with this after saying Raiders before somebody starts to say, Moshe, what are you talking about?
That's why I said I was going to ask you. What
yeah,
changed?
you did. No, I'm absolutely kidding. I have the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not going to let one loss deter that. I think they are the best. I think they're going to wind up going to the Super Bowl, which I've said from the start of the year. And you know what? You play a bad game every once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to get what's his face, Mahomes limping for him to not be throwing touchdowns out there.
Well, it's
And
the first
play
time in
keep away.
25 games they didn't score 25 or more.
Right, and they're getting Tyreek Hill back, so I have a feeling that'll be a nice little boost for them the following week.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs too. The wild cards I think are going to be fascinating here. I'm very interested to see what your guys' wild cards were. Last week I had Buffalo and the Chargers. This week I'm going with Buffalo and the Colts. Going Colts in, Chargers out. That's the one change I have. Is everything else is the same in the divisions. The one change I have is Chargers out, Colts are in.
I'm noticing a theme, and I'm curious to hear it because I feel like I see this theme coming.
Okay, so last week I had the Chargers and the Ravens. Now I have the Colts and the Bills for the first time. Make my who's in.
That's really
5 weeks in, I'm putting the Bills in. You have to.
So the theme that I've detected is we're all out right now on the Chargers because last week I had the Chargers and Ravens, and I did the same thing Ryan did. I kind of looked at their schedule because, again, I wanted to give them the faith and say that's a veteran team. They will figure it out. They're getting Gordon back. At some point, they'll get Derwin James, right, the safety back. But you looked at the schedule, and the fact that they're having trouble scoring, that's not where the problem should be. I mean, Eckler has been fine without Gordon, and they're just really not getting the ball into the end zone. So I went with Colts and the Ravens as my wild card team.
Interesting.
So you had the Bills, dropped them.
No.
Right? Last week.
I had the Bills in last week and have them in again this week.
Oh, you still have the Bills.
I dropped
Okay.
the Chargers
You
and
dropped the
replaced them with the
Chargers.
Colts.
So we all dropped the Chargers pretty much.
Yeah.
I dropped the Browns.
Okay.
So I had the Browns in the AFC North last week, and I had the Ravens in the wild card. I moved the Ravens to the North and dropped the Chargers.
Okay. So we all dropped the Chargers pretty much.
Pretty much.
They're out.
Next week we'll be like Chargers. I don't know who the Chargers are playing this week.
They'll win. They'll win.
Oh wait, they're actually playing the Steelers, right?
Yeah. That's the Monday night game, or is that the Sunday night game?
Sunday
night. By the way, the schedule of the primetime games coming up is brutal.
Awesome.
You've got Pittsburgh, L.A.
That's pretty bad.
Lions, Packers. It's okay.
That should be good.
You got KC, Denver.
Well, I say this for Denver. They give good games. I mean, I know they're 1-4, but they just beat the Chargers. But yeah, that's not great.
Eagles, Dallas. Patriots,
That's a good
Jets.
Oh God.
Horrible.
Washington, Minnesota.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Wait, is Patriots Jets Sunday night or
That's
Monday
the
night?
Monday nighter. The
Oh, they
Thursday
can't
nighter is
even flex it.
Washington, Vikings. And then on Monday night, you've got Miami, Pittsburgh.
Oh,
Jeez
God.
Louise.
49ers, Cardinals on the Thursday night later on in this month. That's the month of October that I just gave you.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah. Real bad.
Spooky.
Pretty terrible, man. Pretty terrible.
God.
Miami, Washington, and the Jets are all playing primetime games this month.
And they're all games that you can't flex out, right? They're all Monday or Thursday games.
Hey, they've earned it.
That's just terrible.
This Sunday night's Pittsburgh Chargers, awful. All right, let's go to the NFC. I have changed back to the Eagles. They've won me back over,
You
thankfully.
missed
Wow.
week to week.
Yeah,
All
well, I
right.
gave you 3 weeks of the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Did the
that's true.
Eagles win you over? The Cowboys embarrass you?
I'm not selling my Cowboys stock yet. I'm just,
It doesn't seem like you're buying it either, though.
I feel that the Eagles got me back on track. The math was bad for them. Guess what? In 2 weeks, the math has changed a lot.
It certainly has. And I'm not good at math, so I have the Eagles as well. I always have since week one. Sticking with them, especially after what the Cowboys have done.
I have the Eagles, and I've had them since day one as
You
well.
have?
And we'll see in a week or two how that
Yeah.
lasts. That holds up.
North. We've all had different Norths. You've had Green Bay. You've had Minnesota. I've had Chicago.
Yep.
Let's start
I'm
with you, Mosher.
sticking with the Vikings.
They're 3-2.
They are 3-2, and they're coming off a
By the
big
way, they
win.
have the best differential in that division, plus 39.
Right. So it's not crazy that I'm sticking with the Vikings.
They're
It's just
game
that
out.
I'm probably the harshest critic of the Vikings, and yet I am saying that I think they're going to win the NFC North.
I hate the tie. Hate the tie. NFL needs to do something about this tie. Lions have 2 wins and they're second because they have a stinking tie. Give me
Well,
a
they didn't
break,
lose.
dude. I don't care. The tie, NFL, billion-dollar industry. You have millions and millions of people watching these games, and 2 teams can go home, 1 of 16.
There wouldn't be
as a
ties if they
tie.
weren't getting sued by everybody for head injuries.
Yeah, well, fair rebuttal. But but I have the Packers in the NFC North as well. I've had them since day one.
I'm sticking.
What would be a great tiebreaker, by the way? A non-contact tiebreaker.
7-on-7.
field goal kicking?
Field goal kicking. Oh my God!
Yeah.
The way field goal kicking has gone, first of all, something that fans would enjoy seeing.
Punt contest.
Like a 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
I don't know.
40-yard dash.
Corner
Between your
kick.
slowest players.
Yeah.
Long snapper, 40-yard dash.
Offensive lineman challenge.
Cage match. Lane
By the way,
Johnson.
somebody texted in, can Jordan Mailata be the third man in that tag team? Like the Freebird role.
He's like Rikishi.
Now,
Bring
is
him
wrestling like cool in Australia? Like, do you think he's into it?
Yeah, it's big over there.
Okay.
Every other country, like when the WWE goes to those countries, it's like the biggest thing, period.
I always figured it was pretty cool in like the Pacific Islands because you've always had a lot of wrestlers from the Pacific Islands.
Yeah.
So, but I never knew about, Australia.
They were just down in Australia recently.
Nice.
I'm going with Bears, by the way. Sticking with the Bears. I
The
know
Bears.
they did not play well in London. I should be really mad because they were my lock of the week and they screwed me. But I like their defense still a lot. They should get Trubisky back, and I know we mock him and make fun of him, but he took them to the playoffs last year. So I'm going to stick with him.
So you're sticking Bears, I'm sticking Vikings, and you're sticking Packers.
Yep.
Go, Pack, go.
That's really interesting. It's like I feel like we're all just being stubborn now for the sake of being stubborn.
Well, that is one of the divisions that is completely up for grabs.
It is.
You know,
That is the ammunition for all our
It's like
stubborn
all of
about
our
team.
picks are valid. So it's like,
Yeah,
yes,
everybody's
let's
got a
stick with
winning
it.
record in that
Sure,
division.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, no reason to abandon.
South 4-1, 3-2, 2-3, 1-4. Now, you picked the Falcons at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I think you switched off them last week.
Last week I had the Saints, yeah. So that's been my one move in the NFC.
The Falcons are a minus 50.
I'm surprised it's not more.
They might be in
Right.
your ugly 5 tomorrow.
I thought they got beat by 50 just in that Texans game alone. I know they gave up 50.
52, I think.
Oh my
Brutal.
God.
Dumpster fire. Their coach is the next to go.
He is got to be the next to go, right?
As of now, how can he be?
Did I say this to you guys the other day? Yesterday we talked about
Him or Gaze.
Oh no, I think Gaze is at least going to be given a year. At least Gaze has excuses.
Douglas
of
and him
injuries.
know each other, but he wasn't Douglas's guy.
No, he wasn't. But
So-
that's not going to be Douglas's choice, though. I think it's always going to be the owner's choice.
Did he go there saying, I'll give the guy a year?
It's a good question.
I think they're hopeful right now that it's not as bad as it appears to be. Maybe inside the organization. Like, let's give it time. We can get a couple wins. Darnold's coming back.
Well, that's the unfortunate part for the Jets is they get Darnold back, right? So they get to say, hey, now let's see us go. But the first game they have to play is in
They played Dallas and then New England.
Dallas and New England, right?
Well,
No,
we had said this. They were going to be 0-6.
Yeah.
Like, with that schedule was brutal for them.
Yeah.
Now, Manish Mehta, we had him on last week twice. Well, he was on with Mason Shander earlier. He tweeted today that with Sam Darnold back, the Jets should beat the Cowboys. I don't know if I agree with that.
Where's that game?
It's in the Meadowlands or
You
whatever.
don't know
MetLife
if you agree
Stadium.
with that? I definitely don't agree with that.
I was trying to be nice to a guy who's come on and give us some good time, but yeah, I have some serious skepticism about that.
Jeez.
Well, they're getting Darnold back. Yeah, I don't agree with him.
I know.
No.
But I guess his point is, look, the defense, as you saw again, the Eagles did not run the ball very well against the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Cowboys are going to try to come in, you think, run the ball, and they may not have to, and it may be a Dak operation, and, maybe they get the Dak the way they got the Carson for a couple quarters.
Yeah. Maybe.
Where are you going?
With the South, the Saints. It's a Saints division. I've had them
Saints
all
clinch.
along. Panthers, good on them for being 3-2, but that's not going to last.
I'm going Saints as well. And by the way, very impressive that we were talking a couple weeks ago about them just getting to 500. Brees should be back in like 3 weeks.
Actually, they showed him video of throwing. It almost seemed to suggest that he thinks he's going to be back sooner than that.
They're dangerous, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the small ball.
They're the team I'm keeping an eye on.
Carolina, by the way, plus 22, the only team with a plus differential in the division.
Wow.
And they're going to have a quarterback decision to make, too.
Yes, they will. Although, I don't know if we've seen it, but since we've been on air, it's been official that Cam Newton was ruled out again for this following week. Or this coming week.
I did not see that.
Yep, he's out.
Let's go to the West. This one's interesting. 4-0, 4-1, 3-2.
I'm making a change. They're starting to worry me, guys. I mean, where's the running game? Even the offense seems like they have way too much weight on Jared Goff's shoulders and that, passing attack. I don't see them getting to 11 wins, possibly even 10 wins, and Seattle looks really good. So Seattle has moved into the NFC West for me. Good on them. I think the Saints are one in the NFC right now, and Seattle has a really good argument to be number 2.
Mike?
I'm going San Francisco.
I knew it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep, they're my Bears this year, and I just think that they are defensively. They're going to give the Rams some problems. They're a plus 70, by the way. You know how many points they've given up this year? 57. Now, they played one last game, but 57, to put it in perspective, New England's given up 34, and New England has played Miami, the Jets. Not that their schedule's been all that difficult, the 49ers. I think that defense, though, is the kind of defense that carries you through a season.
The Patriots season hasn't started yet, has it?
Their schedule this year.
Oh my God!
Come on, give me a break.
They've had an extended preseason.
Now San Francisco is a plus 70 this year. Plus 70. The only other team that's better is New England, plus 121.
Is that good? Asking for a friend.
It's tremendous. We question their offense. They scored 127.
Yeah.
I mean, their offense is just as good as, say, Dallas, who scored 131. And Dallas has been lumping up on the Jets and the Dolphins and the Redskins.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Garoppolo over Dak?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm not
I
a
have
Dak
Seattle,
hater.
by the way. I'm staying with Seattle atop the NFC West. That's been my pick since day one.
That's interesting. So, wild cards, fellas. Mosher, you go.
All right, I only made one change, and I said if the 49ers won against the Browns, I couldn't ignore them any longer. So I have the Packers and 49ers as my two teams.
It's like the 90s.
So I kicked it's weird. I kicked out the Rams, but remember, I started the year where I didn't have the Rams in the playoffs. I put them in last week.
But you also had the Falcons in.
I did.
Let's just throw that out.
No, I'm just specifically talking about my weirdness
that
with the
will
Rams.
be brought up every week.
I know, it probably will.
Okay.
All right, I hope the Bears lose their next 8 games.
By the way, the Falcons beat the Eagles.
Yeah, how bad is that look?
So bad. That's because they celebrate it like they just won the world championship.
That's what they get. So, yeah, Packers and 49ers for me. Rams out.
I have the Cowboys and the Rams. So my teams are the same, but I moved the Seahawks into the West and the Rams down to the wild card.
Who'd you go with?
Cowboys and Rams.
Cowboys and Rams. So Rams are still in for you.
Still in.
All right.
Barely. Clinging on to hope.
By the way, I wrote this down backwards. I have San Francisco wild card, Seattle West, but I actually reversed it.
Did you literally write it backwards?
Yes. I have Seattle in my West spot and San Francisco my wild card, but they're reversed. I have Seattle and Dallas as my 2 wild card teams.
Okay.
All right.
So I got to go like this so that I get that accurate. San Francisco wins the division. Seattle is the wild card. Dallas is the other wild card, which is interesting because that means I got Green Bay out.
Right.
I've got Rams out.
Well, here's the most
out.
interesting thing for all of us, I think, to have to consider soon, is how long are we going to kind of treat the Bills like the Bills of the past? They're 4-1.
Well, we've got the Bills in.
I got them in the wild card.
I'm sorry, I forgot you had
How long
them
are
in.
you going to treat them like the Bills of the past?
That's the question. How long am I going to ignore what you guys do and respect the Bills?
They went to the playoffs.
Falcon.
They went to the playoffs 2 years ago.
I know.
Yeah, they're not the same old Bills.
Yeah, look at your
It was
list
really
before
me
you look
looking
at
in the
others'
mirror
lists.
and say, I needed somebody to be on board with me.